This video series has been filmed at Parker Hannifin Manufacturing in Barnstaple in the UK. This is a manufacturing site certified to IATF 16949. The scope includes the design and manufacture of valves, manifolds, connectors, regulators, and supporting ancillary equipment in corrosion-resistant materials for automotive and non-automotive applications. This series simulates several scenarios in an IATF 16949 audit. Watch this video and see if the auditor is undertaking an effective audit. Hello, my name's Paul. I'm doing the IATF audit, and I think you may have seen me. I've just been talking to the lady in assembly. So I'm following your process flow, and I believe the next step in the process is what you call certification.
Yeah.
And maybe can you take me through, Sean, then what you do in terms of certification to better release the materials?
Can do. So to begin with, for certifications for the ATF products.
Yeah.
First thing we'll do is all our product come down our line, which is then split out to certification products and non-certification products.
Right. So this is certification on this side.
Yes, this side will be certification. So until it's got my stamp on it, it's not released.
Right. And is that what influences which line it goes down? Is that depending on the application of the product?
Depending on what the paperwork states.
Right. Okay.
So all transportation parts will come down my line.
Right. So that would include automotive parts.
Automotive.
Right. Okay.
And then anything on the remarks, they'll be stating different certification requests, which also come down to me to go through the necessary processes to make sure it meets the requirements and then certify it.
Perfect. Okay. So this product has been assembled then. What do you do in terms of the paperwork checks?
Paperwork checks, initially I'm making sure that the steps have been completed here. So we've got the stamp for it being picked.
So 421 has done the picking.
There is no assembling required for this one.
Right.
So we've then got the inspection.
Which is 466. Yeah.
And then the packing.
Which again is 466. So I can check those stamp traceabilities later.
Yeah.
Okay. So what else are you looking for in your certification check?
I'm looking to make sure that all the parts have been highlighted, which indicates that the picker has been to these locations and taking the parts.
Good. Yeah.
I'm then also checking, make sure that the material trace code has been recorded on the paperwork.
I saw that earlier. So the trace code on this is 349H.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Then I'm also just verifying that on the label it records that number.
It matches that. Yeah.
And it should only be one trace code per works order, as stated on here, which in this case it is. Then that's all of it on this particular one.
Okay, and then what about your computer release then of that?
On this side of it, I start from this screen, I scan off the works order. So on here I can see the works order, which is what I've scanned, so I know this is this. Sales order information, we've got like the part number, so I can make sure that part is correct.
Yeah.
And also on here we've got quantity, so making sure that our system's all up to date.
Yeah.
Then a step that those guys will do before it comes to me is they record the material information on here.
Okay.
I'm then just verifying that it's been electronically recorded and that the material is appropriate for this order.
Yeah.
Which for this one, it is 316 material.
Yeah.
So stainless steel ATF, which will be 316 MO11, which on this one is 316 MO11.
Yeah. So that's verified it's the right material, you've got the right parts, the right traceability.
Yep.
What happens next if all that is correct?
Once I'm happy with all of that, I'll put my stamp on there, which will be an indication to the warehouse guys that this order is gone through me and I've approved it.
Yeah. And what does HCT mean?
Heat code traceability.
Heat code traceability. Okay. Yeah.
I'll then pop that one on there, and then when the guys next do their emptying of the line, they'll know that that job has been certified and it's ready to go through to the warehouse.
Right. And do you have to do anything to release it on here then?
On a transportation job now.
Right.
I'm verifying that the material is correct and it's been recorded.
So the release will come further down the process.
If there was a 3.1 requirement or a compressor requirement, then I would do some of the other options on here, which would generate those necessary certificates and the material requirements behind it.
Right. Okay,
Well,
but for this job, for your,
instance,
that's done now, that's ready to go on to the next stage. And my colleague's going to be picking up the next stage of the process. Okay, thank you for your help. That was very clear. The auditor is auditing the process called certification. The auditee explains that there are certification and non-certification products, with all automotive products diverted to certification. The auditee explains the checks performed, including verifying the part number, the component traceability records, and to ensure that they're aligned. Auditing this process gives the opportunity for the auditor to check customer requirements, including any customer-specific requirements related to product identification and traceability, as well as any certification requirements. This relates to IATF requirements 4.3.2, customer-specific requirements, and also requirement 8.5.2.1, identification and traceability supplemental. Once the initial checks are complete, the auditee scans the barcode on the works order and checks the related information to ensure alignment. Finally, the operator signs the works order to confirm the checks have been completed and places the product on the conveyor to move it to the packaging process. He scans the work order, which allows to see the order information, the part number, the quantity, and the material. In IATF 16949, the relevant requirement relates to product release, which is 8.6.1, release of product and services supplemental, which includes the organisation should ensure that the planned arrangements to verify that the product and service requirements have been met encompass the control plan and are documented as specified in the control plan, which we need to make reference to Annex A. The organisation shall ensure the planned arrangements for the initial release of products and services encompass product or service approval. So let's summarise. In this audit, the auditor is correctly using the manufacturing process flowchart to understand the steps in the manufacturing process. In this example, the certification process, which is defined in the flowchart as a separate process step. The auditor observes the process and, using an example of a works order for automotive product that requires certification, with the process verifying that all the requirements defined in the works order have been completed, records are complete for traceability, and that the batch traceability matches. With any manufacturing process, the auditor should verify, using the PFMEA and the control plan, that all the relevant process steps have been completed within this process.